Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of The Buzz. I'm Todd Jadin. With me is Kelly Polk, and our guest this week is from our line haul services area, Matt McCarty. So, welcome, Matt.
Thank you.
Glad to have you. And what Matt is going to talk to us about today is cab heaters. So, we gave you a little bit of a teaser last week that we would be talking about this, and now we have the voice and the face of Matt, who's going to share all his cab heater wisdom with us. So why don't we start with a pretty simple question, but I don't know the answer to this, so I don't know that many people do, is how long will that heater run?
The heater should run for 10 hours. All heaters have a pre-built timer into the controllers, and they should run for 10 hours before key switch being cycled. So.
Okay, so if your heater's not running for 10 hours, that would suggest that there could be a problem.
Correct.
Right, in the switch
In the
or
switch or the heater
in the heater itself.
Yes.
So you should get 10 hours of runtime from that heater. So certainly, as you test it and you find that it is not operating in that manner, then we've got to get that checked out.
Now, one of the challenges that I hear often is the low voltage disconnect. And so you've got this mechanism on your truck to kind of protect the battery life, and the heater, doesn't run off of that particular circuit, if you will. How explain that a little bit, Matt?
Right. The heater should be wired directly to the truck batteries so that it bypasses the truck's low voltage disconnect protection. Okay. So your other accessories may shut off. All your hotel loads, for example, but the heater should be wired direct to battery and stay maintained for at least 10 hours.
Now we had, I'm thinking back to last year, but I think we had a few units that wasn't wired that way, and it was causing some problems. All of that's been corrected.
Correct. And if you do experience any short run times, definitely bring it up with any company shop. The newer controllers and the late model trucks have a adjustable low voltage disconnect in the controller. Those should be disabled. We can turn those off.
Yeah, good. Okay.
One of the questions I get regularly as it relates to cab heaters, and it's really tied to the ambient temperature sensor and that the items we talked about last winter. And so as the cold weather approaches, it really is the question of, will the cab heater operate in sub-zero temperatures? So if we can just help educate the driver group around the operating efficiency of that cab heater, that would really be helpful.
Sure, yeah. There should be no reason the heater does not operate well below zero, or definitely below freezing. So they test the heaters, the manufacturer S-bar, and they rate, they say these will run into the negative 20s, negative 30s. So the only issue there would be fuel. So the heaters itself will stay running sub-zero.
So Matt, you've been in line haul for a number of years, and,
Yep.
and been around trucks for a long time, and when you think about how the equipment has advanced over the years, we keep saying, boy, the insulation's been better, the battery technology's better, but that's a true statement based on your experience as long as you've been working around these things, isn't it?
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
But just a reminder to the viewers out there, the minus 20 degrees is Fahrenheit, not Celsius.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so you may, for those of you watching in Canada, you may have to convert to the Fahrenheit scale.
All right. The other thing that we run into periodically is how to properly operate these things, and so turning them on, turning them off in a way that provides the best performance, but also kind of protects the equipment as well. Talk a little bit about that process.
Key points there would be to make sure when you do turn a heater on, it should go through at least a 3-minute warm-up cycle that does a full system self-check diagnostics of the unit. You may not be producing heat at that time. It would just be the fan blowing air through the assembly. And then operate it, allow it to fire up. Do not shut it off with your key or your parking brake switch. That may allow the unit to short cycle and prevent or cause flooding in the unit. And then when you do shut the system off, it will go through a 4-minute cool down, and then allows all the fuel to burn off of the unit. And then other operating tips would be to preheat the bunk. Use the bunk override switch in your cab to allow the bunk to warm up to temperature before shutting down, closing the bunk curtains to do so. And then if you're operating in warmer climates most of the year, running the system for about 20 minutes per month to allow fuel to come through the system, operate the fuel pump for the heater,
Yeah.
and so forth.
And it's a good best practice just to make sure that thing keeps working for you when,
Yep.
when it comes time for you to need it.
Yeah, correct.
So if one of our drivers does find they have an issue, so I've gone through my 3-minute warm-up, it feels like it's been 5 minutes and I still just am getting cold air blowing, if it doesn't last the 10 hours, what's the best way to get in contact with, and obviously we all have the number for SEM, but how do you talk through an issue from a cab heater perspective? What's the best way to kind of explain it if you're a driver?
Sure. Whether you do call SEM or you're at a company shop, the service advisor, if you can provide them with the most detail of what was occurring when you thought there was a problem or the heater did not start, and simple as what the air temperature was, like you mentioned, was it blowing air? Did you feel any air? And key call-outs would be that no matter what type of controller you have in the bunk, they'll have a red light to let you know that the controller is on, getting and receiving power, or the digital displays like we have in newer trucks, like your home thermostat, will either have a temperature value on it or a fault code, possibly. So,
And we
explaining those 3 items. Sorry.
We were talking about this earlier before we came on, that there may be some units that have different labels on them too, so you have to watch for that as well.
Correct. All trucks should have a decal in the bunk next to your controller that is a quick reference guide to how that controller operates. If those instructions do not match the controller type in your bunk due to a controller being replaced, you can get with any company shop. We have the correct quick reference cards for your controller type. So,
Great. And if drivers want some more information, there will be an article in the Extra Mile, upcoming article, authored by you, so
Yep.
more information and more details on this subject to come.
sounds good.
Good.
Well, and we certainly appreciate Matt joining us and talking with us today about cab heaters. I say this all the time, but whenever our line haul service and maintenance folks spend time with us, I just leave feeling a lot smarter.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad they're on our team.
Yeah, well, in fact, maybe we ought to go hang out there for a while. We might absorb some more information.
Or we might dilute the pool.
Yeah,
So
that's the downside.
Yes,
that's the downside.
But that's a risk.
I think I just heard Matt say under his breath, "Don't come down."
Yeah.
Okay.
Stay where you're at.
So with that, again, we thank you and appreciate you spending time with us today. What we're going to close with today is just an opportunity to recognize a very important date in our country's history and in Canada's history. November 11th is Veterans Day in the United States, Remembrance Day in Canada. So please, as the calendar rolls around to that day, just know what sacrifice those folks have made on our behalf, and so a very important day of recognition.
Absolutely. Everything that we enjoy is a result of veterans making sacrifice and their families making sacrifices for us. So, thank you. Yes, that's about as sincere as we can be.
And if you have an opportunity and you see someone with a red poppy, which is the symbol of both Veterans Day and Remembrance Day, know that they are recognizing in that manner. So that will be forthcoming, and we certainly appreciate you taking any opportunity you can to recognize veterans.
Thanks for the feedback on the discussion board. We're getting some great feedback on the mobile app, so thank you for that. Kelly Weber, who was on the Buzz a few weeks back, is monitoring that and taking your feedback. And also, last week we asked for some of your tips on how to improve MPG. So again, keep that feedback coming so others can benefit from that.
Okay. Anything else?
I'm out of bullets.
Matt, anything else?
Nope, thank you.
All right.
Good to have you, Matt.
That's it for this week's edition of The Buzz. Take care. Drive safe.
See you next time.